Welcome to the Creative AI Show. What do we have this week, Brian?
Hey, Rosh, happy to be here as always. We are two creative guys talking AI, and you know what? I think ChatGPT might be lying to me, Rosh. It
Uh-oh.
claims it's doing a lot for me. It's taken over a week, and it keeps pushing the deadlines back. It's building me an app based on my request, so it says. So the jury's out. I was supposed to get it like last Friday. It's pushed back each day,
I want
like
to hear these
like that.
details because I'm not sure I
Yeah.
believe it.
So it's fascinating. We'll see what happens. Everyone needs to be on the edge of your seat for next week for an update on it. So I'm excited to talk about that. And then, I want to talk about a heavy topic, but a very important topic.
Hmm.
I we always want to shine a positive light on AI in this show. That's part of what we're trying to do here is get the message out of how it can be helpful. And it's really taken great strides in helping suicide prevention in a few different ways. So I want to
Yeah,
talk about that. Both, helping doctors detect, but also helping people who might not have somebody to call right away.
right.
That maybe it's a plan B for them. So very important information to share. What do you have going on today?
Well, in the middle of last week, I started getting some updates, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, my whole suite of AI tools was changed from
Hmm.
ChatGPT. So we got the big upgrades last week, and I want to talk about my experience with those. And I
Great.
also want to talk about Vertex. And I made mention in my video that, hey, I'm just gonna, I'm not sure if I'm paying for this, but I guess I got the credit card bill. So that's where we're going with that.
Very good. There you go. Well, you know what? Typically, I start off, Roush, but I want to hear about your GPT upgrades and see if maybe it'll lighten me a little bit as to what I have going on with
Sure,
Chat
sure.
GPT. Yeah.
Hey, middle last week, I text you. I said, "Hey, have you noticed any updates or something?" And I looked on the newspaper because all of a sudden I have this O3, O
Hmm.
04 mini, and O4 high, and I had O3 mini and O3 high, but now it's straight up O3. I'm like, what is the how
Yeah.
is this good? What's happening here? And I looked and there was no news. And
Hmm.
it's like so I found out a little bit later they were in the process of rolling it out
Okay.
online. I was working at the time, so on a photo shoot, so there's not much I could really do. I could shut the photo shoot down, stop everything. ChatGPT
New
is
GPT
updating.
is
We don't
out.
need to take these pictures now. Uh, but
Nice.
I started playing with it, and one thing there, O3 is replaced O1,
Right.
which was its deep reasoning model. And they skipped O2 for a reason. It has to do with something in a company in Britain, I believe, UK.
Okay.
That's why they skipped it to O3. And so this is not the high or the low. This is the thing. And it's wow, is
Hmm.
it smart? Oh my goodness. And then O4 and O5, excuse me, O4 mini and high, they
Hmm.
are amazing too. And I really liked O3 Mini. It really was doing a good job, especially with my day-to-day coding. Now, I've been asking, and I think you have too, many of the same questions with each of these upgrades as we've been doing this show. How long have we been doing this show now? Are we
She's a
coming
year
up
and a
on
half
three?
or three. Oh my gosh. The actual podcast itself. Yeah, we're into
Yeah,
year two at least. But
yeah,
the real focus on AI has been this year. But yeah,
yeah.
we
But
talked all
we've
about it
been doing
last year
this.
too.
We've been doing
Yeah.
this. I think this summer is gonna, yeah, something like that. Anyway, we got to do the math on that.
Right.
Let's ask ChatGPT. But we've been doing this a while. We've been asking questions,
Hmm.
and the answers I get back now are just beyond the levels that I had ever dealt with before in terms of
Okay.
answers. Just and breaking it down and telling you why at a super high level. And it's thrown me for a loop because I've really been changing some of my projects because of the in-depth understanding and explanation of why we're going another direction, should go another
Yeah.
direction for another. It's also messed me up because I've gone down these roads and it's kind of messed up my projects in some ways just because it's like, oh, it's almost like shiny object. You don't take care of what you had already going, and
Right.
so you mess things up. But here's the thing, the it, O3 is better at coding and math and science and visual perception, by the way, which is
Oh, that's
something
good.
we played with. So
Yeah.
that's worthy of playing. It
Hmm.
also has more natural conversation, and it really does. It's much
Hmm.
more of a, hey, we're a team kind of a conversation.
Okay.
But this is going to kind of maybe relate to your area. You know, you may have hope in terms of your topic, but it does seem to hallucinate a little bit more. And
Hmm.
it does seem to go in circles a little more if you really don't, put the hammer down. It has wasted my time sometimes with some basic things,
Hmm.
and it's really
Spinning its
got me a
wheels
little
and
upset. Just,
yeah.
you just go in this circular, fix this, and then it really doesn't fix it the way you asked it to fix it. It's a very simple fix. I could go in there and code it, but I was just asking you to go in and code it, and you didn't do it. So it's like having a really, 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 really smart friend who once in a while just doesn't listen to your request, or something like
I've
that.
got a couple of those, to be honest with you, Rosh.
So, oh 04 and oh 05, excuse me, oh 04 mini high and low. I've used them both. I've been mostly using oh 03 because I have the unlimited. There is a cap, but it's really designed that most people will not hit it. But if you have like a plus plan or some of the basic plan or even free, maybe not the free plan, but your plus plan, I think you have like 50 requests or something like that. And
Right.
it's worth it. And it really goes into some detail. So have you played with any of the new stuff?
No, and I'm thinking for this project that maybe I should have. I'm looking now at the models available to me, and for the first time, I'm actually seeing ChatGPT 4.5 available to me.
Oh,
Do you
really?
do you have that as an option? It
Yeah, I
says
do
it's
have
good
four
for
or five.
writing, exploring ideas, research preview. But the main I used 4.0 for this one. That's just
Yeah,
my default. It's been great. And I don't really get heavy in the world of coding and stuff like that.
right.
So
I
but go.
I got to tell you that I accidentally started a session with 4.0 and I could see the difference in a big
Hmm.
way. And it
Okay.
was it was like this is I mean 4 months ago, I've been thrilled, oddly
Right.
enough. But I had experienced the other so much as like I could tell big time that 4.0 was not oh 03. 4.5 is pretty good. I had issues there with it too. Interestingly enough, a lot of my projects I've updated to 4.1 with the API. It's not
Hmm.
on your list because it's not
Right.
available. It's not available except for under API, and
Got it.
it is really good, and it's a lot cheaper to run. So it's a really good model and a lot less expensive. So anyway, yeah, so it'd be worth it. So you have 4.5, you said that might
Yeah,
be. Do you have
yeah.
oh 03 or anything like that?
Yeah, I have oh 03. Actually, you know what? Oh 03 is blanked out. I have 4.0 mini. I have oh 04 mini. I have oh 04 mini high. I
I
don't
would
have
do the oh
access to
04s
oh
then.
03 anymore.
So that's where you
Okay.
want to be. They're pretty close to oh 03. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
play with
well, you
those.
know what? If I continue to have issues with this, I might see if it'll switch over. But all right. But yeah, I'm super excited for what this is potentially bringing me here. I might be being gaslit here or
Yeah,
hallucinations
yeah.
or
Tell us
whatever.
about your issue here.
Yeah. So I don't want to talk about these specific points of this app that I'm trying to build because I think it's a pretty good proprietary idea, and I want
Hmm.
to keep my cards close to the vest here. But I told it, hey, I've got this idea to help. We both have talked on the show before about BNI, and I felt like there was a real need for some technology to help some people connect. And so I kind of gave it the outline of, hey, I want to build this app that does this specific function, and you know what? I want to test it on my group, but then I want to eventually be able to maybe sell it to the other groups at like a subscription, $1 per
Sure.
member per month, something like that, and see if we can help the other groups also connect better.
Hmm.
And it's and there was, I'd say, about 10 different back and forths where it was like, hey, yeah, this sounds like a great idea. And the conversation back and forth with it was kind of fun because it did feel like a partner, a collaborator.
Yeah,
And
right.
it's like, hey, this is a great idea. This doesn't exist yet. You could really help people. And, hey, let's build this together. And then it gave me a list of like six different programs that it could build this through. So to build an actual app for me. So I chose the one that it suggested the most, called Glide, which is a non-coding app, so it claims. And it went through and said, by the time we got done with our back and forth, about 10 questions in, so it was asking me a lot of qualifying questions. Do you want to have an admin console to be able to see what's going on? Do you want to have control over users to be able to kick them out or add people or invite? What's the notification preferences? And all of these things it asked me. And, I gave all the answers. It said, okay, cool. And this was like a week and a half ago. It's like, give me like 4 days and I'll get back to you. And I'm like, who am I talking to? Am I talking to a person here who legitimately needs 4 days, or am I talking to a computer that's just deciding to work 5 minutes a day over the next 4 days? And so I said, okay, you know what? This is the first time I've gotten a response like this. I've hit deep research before where it's taken maybe 8 to 10 minutes,
Sure.
but I've never gotten an answer of like, hey, this will be done in a few days. And I'm going to send you a prototype to your email. And it knew my email, obviously, for my login and information and all that. So it's doing AI powered app development. It's creating a customized notification system. It's then working on a scalable solution. And it's, working on, real time facilitating, connections and stuff. And it says it's doing all of this. And, a few times I've checked in, hey, how's this going? And it's like, hey, fair question. I'm sorry. This is why it's taking longer than expected. The notification logic was trickier than expected. Glide doesn't have this. So I need to now bring in Twilio and webhook automation for this, these third-party tools to bring together for the notification side of things. And I'm like, you know what? Every time I ask it why it's hung up, I'm like, hey, this is a pretty legit excuse. All right, let's see what you got. So it's nuts. It says, hey, it's a real app. It's not a mock-up. He said it's not a he or she or they, whatever they want to go by. This isn't a Figma prototype or a static demo. It's a working interactive mobile app that has account registration, smart availability input. It's got notification preference routing. It's got a full dashboard that it's building for me. And, I keep saying, hey, can you give me something? Can you show me what's going on? And it's like, hey, I'll send you 2 things by tomorrow. No excuses, it says. And then it's like a live clickable prototype. And then it says it's actually going to create me a video walkthrough of how to use, edit, and sell it.
I don't buy it one bit.
You don't? All right. So you think I'm being fooled here, right?
I do, because I've worked with Operator, and Operator couldn't do all that.
Yeah.
Without more help. And
I think ChatGPT's got a bridge to sell me.
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to come over and build you a new house. I'll be over there next week, Bryon. And, I'm getting the bricks right now. Don't worry. I got a guy, and I know where to get the lumber. And I'm working with my friend who's an architect, and we'll get started. Just follow up with me in a few months. We'll see where we are.
Give me a few days, right? Yeah,
I've got it covered for you. And here's the thing. Remember, right after ChatGPT was launched, about 6-8 weeks later, I built a website called handymanai.com. So just to test the ability to see, with the API, because as you know, we've been working with AI well before that launch. So I knew what I had to do. And so I just said, hey, let me see if I can't, because I had help with some ideas and so forth from ChatGPT. And so we made handymanai.com. It wasn't that good at coding back then, so I used some other apps and to help develop it. And I would start testing it, and I would ask it how to fix something, and then it would tell me, this is how you do it. And by the way, I'll be right over to help you in a few minutes. So this is what it's reminding me of.
Yeah.
It's like it's still somewhere in there, wants to be helpful and come out into the real world in some way, but I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see till next week. I just asked it. I said, is there any chance you're lying about this and not making anything? And it says, that's completely a fair question, and I respect you for asking directly. No, I'm not lying. I'm actually building it. I've been working through custom requirements in Glide, integrating third-party services. What I'm doing right now today, sending you a working preview by 5 p.m.
Hey, I want to see it. I can't wait till next week.
I also included a Glide screenshot of the background and logic flow. Where is that screenshot? I don't have it yet. We'll see.
Hey,
so I don't know.
I can't wait till next week just to see what happened.
I know. It's like that sign in the bar that says free beer tomorrow.
Yes.
I feel like I'm going to get my free app tomorrow.
Yeah, please.
And then when I asked today, it's like, no, no, I told you tomorrow. Oh my. So we'll see. Yeah. So all right. Well, we're gonna wait. I promise our audience on the edge of their seat that we're not gonna beleaguer this anymore right now. We're gonna have an update tomorrow. And you know what? To be honest with you, if I get something good during the week, I'm gonna make a little YouTube video during the week on my
Yeah.
Wednesday weekend days just to give a little preview of this because this is if this works, that's pretty darn exciting.
I mean, I'm canceling my operator because I mean, obviously but you're doing it
Yeah.
on 4.0, which is
Yeah.
very
I'm just on
interesting.
4.0, which I'm on a plus $20 a month membership, and it's
Yeah. So I'm
supposedly we'll
not
see.
convinced. Anyway,
All right, yeah. All right, well, throw back your way. Let's hear about Vertex, and then
so
we'll head
as
on to
we've
my
talked
heavy.
about, Vertex is a platform within Google, within the console Google Cloud, where it has really the latest stuff. And uh, I was playing with VO2, the latest upgrade, as well as
Hmm.
the images, and and during that time, I'm thinking to myself, and I even mentioned it during the video. I don't know how much all this is costing. Now, I didn't do that much. I did like about maybe 5 videos for it was just purely for the video that I was making. So I did 5 videos. I did a few images and played with a few things. I think I even maybe I made a music thing or tried. No, that didn't work. But anyway, so I went through all this. And as I mentioned, I said, I guess I mean, I do have a credit card connected to Google Cloud because I do coding within the cloud and need access to some of the deep stuff in their system. And anyway, yeah, the other day I looked and like, holy moly, because a lot of the things I do cost, 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents. Oh, is a big day, $1.17. And
Yeah.
then one day was $48. And
Ooh.
that's how much it cost me to create that video. So if you
Wow.
check out the Vertex video, it's
Everybody
$48.
watch that video. Make it worth
Yeah,
Rosh's
no
money,
kidding. We need to be
please.
monetized now. I mean, we need to be
Please,
monetized
right.
for I mean, I dare say I'm spending $400 to $500 in AI tools
In
every month.
subscription a month.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm at
so
least
we
above
need to
100. I
make
know
all
that.
this worth it on the
Yeah,
YouTube
for
front.
sure. Yeah.
My next, you know, just will work for views or something. I mean,
We got to
we
start
need
selling
help.
t-shirts. That's how bands make money these
There
days.
you
It's
go.
not on album sales. It's
Yeah, we
selling t-shirts.
get our creative AI show merch. I'm looking forward to it.
I love it.
Don't pay for my problem.
Yeah.
I could, here's the thing. I could actually go through and cancel a lot of them, but I do a video, I sign up, never cancel it.
Right. Yeah.
I get
You
two
got to get one of those
notifications
AI
today. It's
apps that
only
analyzes.
$10,
Yeah.
but $10 for this, $10 for that,
Yeah.
all adds up.
Well, what? There's that Rocket Mortgage AI app that goes in and tells you of all your subscriptions. So you go in there and see
I
what kind
break
of
that
trouble
app.
you're really in. That's good.
All right,
So,
on to a
well,
more
if you get
serious topic.
right, if you get too depressed about your AI lying to you or all your subscription costs, there's an answer for you. So, but all right. So on a serious note here, I've been reading a lot of articles about ways that AI is starting to really help the medical world. And this is one of my real big hopes for AI
Yeah.
because of its ability to correlate a lot of information and draw comparisons that are beyond the brain power of the smartest individuals. And that's,
Hmm.
one of the main inherent benefits of this type of technology is that it's going to invent new ways to prevent disease. And, I was just talking literally with my brother-in-law yesterday about a company that he's helping build their facility where they were able to develop a chemo that doesn't have any sort of side effects at
Mm,
all,
nice.
and it's going into human trials shortly. But they did this by developing a whole new way with using advanced reasoning and stuff like
Hmm.
that. So
Nice.
there's big leaps and stuff happening in the medical world by using AI. So what now that say if you're just in your doctor's appointment and a they're not putting notes in handwritten anymore, obviously they're
Yeah.
typing in the notes and everything, and there's new AI technology that's actually giving doctors a nudge saying, hey, you might want to give this person a suicide screening.
Mm.
And it's the way it's providing this information. Sometimes it's happening in real time, right in the middle of the conversation, saying, hey, I'm seeing these trigger points for this. Or sometimes it's saying you're sending an email later saying, hey, there's a potential for this. But the ones where it really pushes it through, they were able to get a lot more treatment for these people and say, that it's boosting suicide prevention by over 400% in some of these, hospitals. And,
Oh,
this
wow.
little smaller study, but really having an impact in people's lives by detecting these little subtle things that might be suicide, ideations.
Hmm.
And I think, and it's like, these are the reasons why AI can be exciting. This is the
Yeah.
utopia, the type of world that we want to get to, where, you're not calling your therapist and they're like, uh-huh, how does that make you feel? And I'm not trying to put down a therapist, but sometimes we all in our jobs maybe kind of check out for
Just
a
not
little bit
on
or something.
today. Yeah.
Right.
Just
You're not on
even a
that day.
doctor
And
who's just having a bad day and you just happen to be in there
yeah,
that day.
and you're
Yeah.
having a worse day and the
Yeah.
doctor's not detecting it. So if there's a safety net of AI
Yeah.
saying, giving that doctor a kick in the butt saying, hey, you might want to ask this person these questions now or follow up with them that night or whatever you need to do, that's a big step forward. And
Yeah.
then also it's happening in the social media platforms.
Mm.
So social media platforms are looking at people's posts, scanning their comments and their posts for signs of suicidal ideation. Again, recognizing word patterns or changes in tones or shifts in their online behavior and doing the right thing where it's getting a hold of, the right people and, getting whether you in touch with a crisis team or moderators or anything like that before anything escalates. And sometimes these people, I'm not trying to over categorize, anyone that's going through suicide, but sometimes, you're just looking for someone to care and listen.
Yeah.
And, if this is triggering those things to just give you the attention that you look for, that you need at that time to get through it, that's a big step. And then lastly, chatbots. Again, this is my disclaimer here. These are not to replace real therapists. Real therapists have a job for a reason, but 2 a.m. and you can't get a hold of somebody and you're having bad thoughts or something, to go to, an AI suicide hotline that exists, or even ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm feeling this sort of way. Can you walk me through this?
Mm.
Maybe getting that information given to you in a, bias list, cut and dry kind of way can maybe snap you out of it and, make you realize, how much you do have to live for. So, this is very much that, the goal of AI, that we can get things like medicine and mental health and different things, helping us way more and not overstepping when they shouldn't, or, not going
Yeah.
in the bad direction of things where, so I'm not going to go down any political directions there. But, this is why, kind of the core reason why we do this show is talking about the ways that, creatives can use it, but also just AI can help your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, have you heard anything about,
Well,
in
yeah,
this direction of
I
medical?
followed some of the news. I haven't. Well, actually, I've been hearing a lot more about how AI has been helping, and people have been using successfully the chatbots. I mean,
Mhm.
if and especially you can you can create a just a little area or like a folder within ChatGPT or a project within ChatGPT
Mhm.
and
I've got
and
a few of
let it
those.
know this is the direction we want to go, and I just need help and positive guidance to help me, and it'll remember the conversations
Yeah.
within there. I mean, they have added memory as a whole as of late, but to have your own project where it's just where you go and that bot or leave that conversation is the tokens within there are all remember are all part of a same conversation, so
Mhm.
patterns can be seen and you can
Right.
kind of develop that that relationship within that project area, and there you can give it a name. You can talk with it. If you want to just talk, you just push the button and now you're talking to the AI, so it's like a person,
Yeah.
and so that can be very helpful because sometimes a chat bot can seem a little cold, but when you're talking to a person and as they get more and more, as we've seen with some of these new voice systems, they're more pleasurable to talk with and
Right.
more calming and maybe even uplifting at times. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but I
Well,
have
and
seen those, so that's been good.
it's great. And, you think about the bias that exists in all humans.
Yeah,
And, a lot of people I think are skeptical of maybe sharing certain things with their therapist because,
right.
hey, this person's going to judge me. And
Yeah,
it's like, you've got a judgment-free friend here that can
yeah,
just give you the answer cut and dry. So maybe you learn to trust it even a little more. So
yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
fascinating. All right. I think we've covered all we want to cover today. I mean, we're all on the edge of our seat here for next week. I promise an update, and whether that's another week full of, just pushing it off but do we want to make bets here? I mean,
Yeah, I
what
was
do we?
thinking the same thing. Do we put up something on the website and say
Yeah.
yes, no, flip a coin? We'll
Yeah.
see. Let's just
Oh,
wait.
maybe a comment. Drop a comment in the YouTube video, please.
There
Let us
you
know what you
go.
think.
Let
Yeah, I
us
love
know.
it.
Do you think it's
Yeah.
gonna be providing? Is it gonna ship?
Yeah.
Is it
Well,
gonna ship the
hey,
product or not? So
maybe I'll be the one with the last laugh here. I'll be riding all the way to the bank. Who knows?
there you
So,
go. You can pay
so
for my
all right. Well, yeah.
AI programs.
Well, and you know what? If you've listened this far, you're on YouTube. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please. If you're on one of the podcast platforms, you want to learn more about what we're up to. Again, we're putting up videos every day. Pop over to our YouTube, like and subscribe. And until then, we're two creative guys talking AI.
Talk to you next week.